Welcome to the dumbest smart guy podcast on the planet. This is the Central Unintelligence Podcast.
That's right. It's time here for another episode of the Always Faithful. Always there for you. Always
ignorant.
Yeah, pretty dumb. Always pretty fucking dumb. The Central Intelligence Podcast. This is episode number 21. As always, my name's Josh. Here today with Adam.
Howdy.
Also here today with Frank.
What's up?
And there's been some shit happening. There's been some happenings around the world. Oh, great. The cat's going to fuck me up right now.
The worst part is you're wearing a tank top.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm just going to be fucked. So.
About to jump on top of the TV.
Don't fucking cats. Anyways.
Oh, that cat's awesome, huh?
It is awesome. She is awesome. One of the... couple topics today. One, we've been trying to talk about this goddamn Disease X thing for the last 3 episodes, and we just keep not getting to it. So, I want to talk about that. I should probably open with that so I can make sure that we talk about it. I also kind of want to obviously update on the whole Middle East, Houthi, Yemen, Iran, fucking Red Sea blockade nonsense. Talk about that. And then I also had a side topic about I kind of accidentally came across this when I was fucking around on the internet looking up stuff, and I accidentally figured out why Swedish people look so good. Like why Swedish people they all are good looking. Like you can't find a what?
She's trying to cuddle with you.
Oh, why you can't find an ugly Swedish person? And it's quite shocking the fucking reason why.
I can't wait to hear it.
Watch the laptop.
All right. There we go, cat. All right. Still recording? Yeah, we're good. All right. She jumped on there. All right. We're good. So I will start with this. I'll start with this. I just want to say how fucking disingenuous and almost pointless it is for people to go to their local, here in the United States, to go to their local city council or county board of supervisors or whatever the fucking case that it is that they have, and put all this time and effort in to get them to sign a declaration that is either in favor of Israel or in favor of Palestine with this whole fucking thing. What a useless fucking gesture that is. And I say this because I don't remember what city it was.
They're talking about disease.
Well, that's what I'm going to get to. That'll be the next thing. But this, I just wanted to say with this while it was in my head, because it really just, it offends me upon the highest level, the misuse of democracy that is, to have essentially what is a local government agency sign a declaration saying that they're for one side or the other in a global, not global, but another conflict that's fucking somewhere halfway across the world. What is that going to do? I watched a TikTok fucking video. Yeah, I'm sorry. I watched a fucking TikTok video about these people, and they were at this city council, and they were hugging, they were in arms, and I thought, oh shit, I wonder what they got passed. Maybe something that was really important. And they're reading off the thing, and they say, yes, the city of so-and-so is condemning and supporting that Palestine should have its own fucking country, and the genocide needs to end. Oh, really? And everybody in the audience is fucking cheering. Some guy threw papers in the air. They're all hugging each other. And I'm like, they're literally just acting like they won Game 7 of the fucking World Series, or that they literally just got the war to end. That this referendum, this declaration by a 5-person city council in some shitty ass city in Southern California is going to actually affect the outcome and make sure that war crimes are no longer committed in fucking Palestine.
It's like the Karen Justice when she makes a post about we need a ceasefire. They make a post about it.
Yes.
And they're, it's either TikToks or Reels or YouTube Shorts where they show what happens when a Karen makes a post about please let the ceasefire happen. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And it's like Michael Jackson hugging like a white person, or like in a theater play or something, or some kind of musical where there's warfare involved.
Yeah.
The soldiers put down their fucking weapons, and it's like, oh my God, the Karen decided to intervene with world conflict.
Yeah.
And now it is ended because of her intervention. And same thing with this goddamn this
declaration.
public display.
Yeah.
It sounded like an episode of South Park when Kyle wrote that tearful letter to Fidel Castro about democracy to Cuba.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's the same shit. So it just really pissed me off because that is literally the definition of like first world problems or first world privilege or whatever you want to call it. The people in that location are all just dying on both sides. They're being bombed by each other, murdered. And you thought that the way you could help them is to sign some paperwork and get some people who have basically no authority to say, yeah, we got to end this.
We got him.
We got him. Yeah. You know what? I think we should do a fake press conference and just be like, you know what, guys? The war's about to end. And then just show that we signed like this paperwork.
We got him.
Yeah, we got him. It just pisses me off, man.
I think, okay, so how about this in a different context? Because Ireland had something in their own parliament or their own Congress. I don't know what their body.
I think they're a parliamentary organization or something to that
It's got to
effect,
be
right?
something like the parliament, I imagine, their own parliament. They also did a declaration to the conflict in Palestine and Israel, right?
Uh-huh.
And they were of the opinion that Palestine needs to be recognized as a state.
Uh-huh.
And the plight of the Palestinian people needs to be heard and the genocide needs to be stopped. Their story was that much like the Irish who have been treated shit by like the UK, that they were their own people before the English, right?
Yeah.
So you know how like England's divided between Northern Ireland and the rest of Ireland itself, and Northern Ireland being part of the UK. They illustrated that there are many parallels between the Irish people and the Palestinians, that they were somewhat being displaced and going through genocide themselves.
Yeah.
And they felt that they were obligated to comment on this because they're seeing this happen once more. Maybe they didn't experience it personally because this is like decades and hundreds of years, centuries after the fact that happened. But well, what do you think about them saying that on a national stage? That the fact that it's a little bit closer to home to them.
Yeah, I mean, okay, maybe it's got a little more weight to it than if one of their city districts in Ireland fucking said the same thing, because it's like, okay, they're a player on the global stage. The city of blank in Southern California is not on the world stage to do anything. They're not in a position to do anything about it. That's why it's such a hollow, it's an empty fucking gesture. Yeah. Whereas at least the Irish, they have a military force. They can say, hey, we could do something about this if we wanted to. So this is maybe the beginnings of that process. So I think it carries a little more weight. I do think generally it is going to be it's an ultimately empty and a hollow gesture unless you actually do something. I think
it's just to say on paper it's a general condemnation of Israel itself. Then isn't that just virtue signaling if you're not going to do anything about it? It is. I mean, but it's like if you have any kind of conscience and everybody's telling you that it's the wrong thing to do. I mean, sure, Israel is entitled to retaliating because they were attacked first, right? Like, to end this, they need to get some kind of retribution in some way.
Yeah, sure.
But it's far exceeded at this point. The number of casualties on the Palestinian side has gone up, but there are kidnapped individuals from Israel that Palestinians are holding high. It's a whole fuck.
It is.
It's a fuck show.
It's a complete and utter shit show all the way around.
But generally, the consensus is that Israel has taken this too far, and maybe all these collective efforts of making a declaration is on paper saying that we're not down for this. And yeah, it is empty to some degree because, I mean, nothing is actually being done. These people are still fucking dying and everything. And I mean, the UN could get involved and have their Peace Corps fucking, I mean,
do something.
I mean, at least
go there and hand out food or Band-Aids or whatever the fuck it is they do.
Yeah. And if nothing, it's like, okay, maybe they're within the borders of Palestine and Israel, and they put, a whole bunch of the UN's military all over the place.
Yeah.
And then that forces Israel, well, we can't just throw fucking
bombs everywhere.
Yeah, we can't throw bombs everywhere. At least we're going to have to stop for now. And at least the UN can be something of a logistics powerhouse to distribute fucking food and water. And but that is not what's happening. Everybody's just kind of, pointing the finger at Israel and all that stuff. And maybe for us, it's the other side. It's Palestine that's the problem or whatever. But nobody's doing anything.
Right.
Everybody's just watching this shit happen. And that's ultimately what's happening.
It's ultimately just a farce all the way around by everybody else who's not involved.
Well, anyways, was that the end of the topic?
For that. I mean, unless Frank had anything to say about it. No? All right. So I want to talk about this disease X thing real quick because it's fucking very interesting to me. The fact that you've got at essentially the world powers, I don't know, meeting in Davos or whatever the fuck they have. They've been talking. All these global leaders have been talking about what they've been referring to as disease X, which is being called whatever the next COVID's going to be, or whatever the next pandemic. They've been coming up with all these international treaties regarding vaccine passports and vaccine distributions and all this stuff, right? In terms of control, command and control, essentially, if there were to be another pandemic on the scale of what COVID was. So they've also been talking about this disease X and some of the things that it could be incorporating, such as a much higher death rate and a different method of spread that's more effective and nothing is effective against it. And so one of the things that has come out is that the good old Chinese fucking bioweapons labs in I don't know, I don't want to say Wuhan again, but let's just assume that's where it's probably happening.
Nah, let's leave it out because we can't just say.
Well, sure, I can't prove that that's where it's at, but it's come out that's been documented that Chinese scientists have now created a variant of COVID that is 100% lethal. There is nothing that they've given it to has survived. Everything has died that has gotten it. And it ends with what is referred to as being called a late stage brain infection, making the rodent or monkey or whatever animal they're fucking injecting this shit into act as sort of in a zombie-like fashion, as it's been referred to as. So that's a little concerning. That is literally now I'm not saying that they go eat flesh and that we're going to have actual zombies as we know them in fiction, right? I'm not saying that that's what this could potentially lead to, but the fact that someone has created this, right? Someone also created COVID. That had to have been created. It wasn't a virus that existed prior to that, and it escaped.
COVID-19 was the one that was created.
That's what I'm saying. That's
COVID itself.
Yeah. I'm referring, when I say COVID, I'm referring to the disease known as COVID-19. That was created in a lab, right? That was created. I think that's pretty well documented up to this point that COVID-19 was manufactured because of experimentation on novel coronaviruses, right? That's what they were doing. And somehow it escaped out of wherever it is at through poor protocols or whatever. So do I trust that the goddamn Chinese scientists are using better protocols than they did back in 2019 when this shit got out? I don't know. But it's still concerning at the least, because in relation to this disease X or whatever this next thing's going to be, there have been reports that there's some new virus starting to come around that's very much similar to COVID, except it also has components of what is being called like an AIDS. It's like an immunodeficiency thing where it's you get it and then it reduces your immune system to like basically nothing, which then you maybe don't necessarily die of whatever it is, the disease itself, but you die from something else that, well, because you have no immune system or whatever. So there's people that have come out, and it's unknown. I don't want to say that this is a fact because it's just people saying shit that they've been working at hospitals and they've seen huge upticks in their emergency room visits, and there's been a lot of deaths, and there's been a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Hiding of the facts again, where now that's kind of how it was at the beginning of COVID again. We're looking at the numbers were kind of downplayed, and then all of a sudden they were overplayed, essentially. So I don't know where this goes. I don't know what the end game for that is, other than to just cause a world calamity or some sort of fucking, I don't know, government control. Who knows? Conspiracy theories. You can pick your poison on the conspiracy theory aspect of this. But one of the things that I do find interesting that I don't think is, I think this whole thing about history being cyclical is really starting to get fucking weird. So in 2020, all right, it was a leap year. The Chiefs and the 49ers were in the Super Bowl. We had a Trump versus Biden election, and then we also had a global pandemic, right? Here 4 years later, it's 2024. It's also a leap year. The Chiefs and the 49ers are also going to be in the Super Bowl again, and we're likely also going to have a Trump versus Biden election in November. Is there going to be another pandemic thing that happens? Is history going to repeat itself the exact same way that it did 4 years ago? I don't know. I don't know if there is an actual correlation to say that this stuff will happen again, but I just think that it's weird. I'm just pointing out that it's a weird causality that those things are all happening again in the same fashion. It's a little weird. I don't know. I'm just saying. So not to preface, because that's but to end this version, unless you guys have anything to say about this thing, I assume the answer is no, but go ahead if you have anything. Josh, you are an idiot.
Yeah, I'll take it. Well, I mean, it's not like we've experienced stuff like this before where there's some kind of sweeping virus that caused the death of so many people. Fuck, man. I mean, in terms of the narrative of life itself, man, we've been through enough shit. I'm kind of over it.
I mean, honestly, I agree, man. Like us, our millennial generation or whatever, man, we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
We've been through the fucking ringer. And the worst part is we've been adults for pretty much all of it, and had to have dealt with it in one way or another, whether it be the financial crisis that happened in 2008 that really kicked 9/11 really kicked this whole thing off. Now, granted, we weren't adults for that, but
no, it wasn't.
Huh?
9/11 was its own thing. Our crisis event was fucking Harambe.
And you know the Bengals had the opportunity. The Bengals had the opportunity to switch
what is
timelines.
The time mark for that? That is the real right there.
No,
18, 20. Yeah,
literally everybody agrees that was the moment shit went bad, and nobody can explain why. But everybody agrees that was the moment.
But the butterfly effect, the Harambe. The death of Harambe was the end of humanity.
Yeah, basically, that was the...
Like you said, Bengals had the chance to fucking end it.
The Bengals had the chance to end it, and they fucking failed us. And they lost.
Your cat's still in the heat?
No. She probably has to take a shit or a piss, maybe.
Why don't you go take it right now?
I should. Hold on, let me pause this. Or you want to talk? You want to talk? Yeah, you want to talk? You want to keep talking about it? You got anything to talk about? All right.
I mean,
all right, I'm just gonna pause it. You people won't notice. You people won't notice the difference.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I thought she was thirsty because she was like trying to drink out of the toilet, so I fucking put her up there. She gave her a couple drinks of water.
Some nice.
All right, now that the cat piss break has concluded. Oh yeah, we're recording. Yeah, the cat piss break has concluded. So all right, that ends us on old disease X or whatnot. But I wanted to talk about, let's go for our Middle East Houthis and fucking Iran, fucking whatever Red Sea update.
Is there going to be more after this topic itself?
Yeah, there's I got a couple things. We got the Swedish thing.
All right, cool. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that's probably how we'll end it. That's how we'll end this episode.
Okay.
So essentially, I find it very interesting. Well, let's just update with what happened. So basically, there was an attack by the Houthis on this spot in Yemen, and it killed 3 U.S. military personnel. So obviously, that's the first time since this conflict has kind of started that U.S. personnel have been killed. They've been injured before, but this is the first time anybody died. So we came out, the American government came out and said, we are going to respond. We said, we're putting shit together.
We're going to get proportional.
Doesn't matter what side you're on this. You attack American people,
you're getting fucked up. It doesn't matter.
We're going to get proportional.
Yep.
Proportionally responded to.
Proportional.
Thanks, bad electrician.
Yeah. So I don't think this is going to end well for the Houthis. This is definitely going to be bad. One of the things that
no, it's not the Houthis. It's not gonna,
it's Iran or Yemen. Yeah, Yemen's going to be fucked. They're going to get flattened for no reason. Well, not no reason, but because of the Houthis. But that sucks, and it's an unfortunate side effect of this whole thing. But it's I kind of find it very interesting that the Houthis, right, are essentially a terrorist group, for lack of a better term. They're a very low-end terror organization. Yet, they are essentially the first group in history to complete a successful naval blockade without a navy. They have no naval force essentially whatsoever, but yet they have successfully blockaded the Red Sea. They have most shipping traffic has ceased. You can see it in the ship tracking. I've seen it myself. You can see the before this whole thing started, and then slowly ship traffic started to stop until it had eventually all but ceased, essentially. There's been very few ships that have traversed that area since this whole thing has... What?
Does she like Cooper?
Yeah, why?
Because, like, you saw her bitch when Duke was near her, and then Cooper, like...
Well, because Cooper chases her. Or, I mean, Duke chases her. She's cool with Cooper and Rexy because they don't give a fuck about her. Yeah. But anyways, essentially...
She nuzzled up to him.
Yeah, because they're cool. So, essentially, throughout recorded history, if you wanted to enforce your will upon some area, you had to have a navy. You had to have a huge GDP. You had to have all this shit to be able to spend on building a giant naval force to essentially create what would be an effective blockade. And so they've basically done it with anti-ship missiles and fucking drones. And it's, like I said, say what you want about their methods or say what you want about it, but it cannot be denied that it's been effective. The point has been made and people have stopped. Companies have stopped sending shit through there. So
isn't that more a detriment to them, though?
No, not currently, because their local economy doesn't revolve at all, because this is a pass-through for shipping from Asia to Europe. That's essentially what this area that they're blocking. It's a pass-through so that essentially...
They're trying to...
Uh-huh.
You think they're doing this to force countries to go back to the Silk Road?
Yeah, because then if you're going by land to get shit from Asia to Europe, that's the whole Belt and Road Initiative from China.
Yeah, because wasn't that what China and Russia were trying to do?
That's what they are doing. That's what BRICS is becoming, essentially, is the Silk Road Global, essentially, I guess, for lack of a better term. But the Houthis don't benefit, and Yemen really doesn't benefit, because this is just a pass-through. So effectively blockading it, you are now causing an uproar in shipping throughout the world, because now goods that need to go from Asia, which is, well, pretty much worldwide, one of the biggest manufacturing areas of products.
Like, how does China feel about that?
Well, China really doesn't give a fuck, because they're going to just use the pass-through on land, because they have remember what we talked about before, about if you want to be the global hegemon, you have to be able to force project. China doesn't have really an effective naval force to force project with like we do. So since they can't do that, if you take shipping from essentially China or the major manufacturing hubs there to Europe and you basically make it all go by land, China can protect that. They can protect that easily. So I think this is being done at their behest. I think they're behind this. I'm call me a conspiracy theorist, but I believe China's pulling the strings on this whole conflict completely. So it is something that has to be recognized that, man, that is a very interesting point of history that these guys have been able to essentially create a naval blockade. And now all shipping that's been going from Europe to, Asia to Europe and vice versa, now has to go all the way down through the bottom through the fucking Horn of Africa and go all the way back up to Europe. That's the only other route you can take to get to Europe, essentially by sea. So it's definitely caused a problem. That's why we've gotten involved, because our job, our whole existence for our Navy is literally to protect the shipping lanes. That's basically how we became a world power, is because we protected all the shipping lanes. And then we said, hey, in exchange for your protection, you're going to use the US dollar. And that's how the US dollar has essentially become a world currency, and to where it's at now, because we've been doing that for basically the last 70 years since World War II. So that's why we're there. The Houthis are fucking with our shit now. They're attacking our people and they're shooting missiles at our ships. There's been plenty of video. There's been plenty of instances over the last couple of weeks where they've launched their anti-ship missiles directly at U.S. Navy ships, right? None of them have been effective. Our defense systems against missiles and shit like that on our Navy ships, it's too good. The Sea Whiz or whatever the fuck it's called.
C-RAM.
The C-RAM and the Sea Whiz, those things are just too fucking good against one single missile. You put multiple fucking targets up against it, sure, that's when maybe you'll have a little bit of a problem. But nonetheless, they haven't done that. So now that we've said we're going to get proportional on their ass and we're going to fucking respond, one of the things that's very interesting is I noticed, because I am a fucking psychopath and I like to watch the aircraft. It's the ADS-B exchange or whatever, which is like the aircraft tracking map. And you can see live of where aircraft are. And so I just hit the button that turns it to military aircraft only. And so one of the things I noticed was like a few days ago, here in our local area, there's an Air Force base. It's a reserve air base, but there were 6 or 7 KC-35 Stratotanker aircraft, which are basically the giant mid-air refueling aircraft that were sent. There was like 8 of them that got sent across going to Europe essentially. And then they picked up like 9 or 10 other ones along the way into this aerial convoy. And they all just went to Europe. And then now from there, the transponders are off and who knows where the fuck they went. Likely they're going to the Middle East, because what they're going to do is when we get proportional, they're just going to be aerial refueling F-18s that are just going to basically be going and just fucking the shit out of Yemen. And all of the Iranian-backed militias, all of the Iranian-backed dickheads in that area have all gone into hiding. Iran has pulled all of their Revolutionary Guard Corps people that were there, being the interface between the two organizations, right? They basically pulled everybody out, and now everybody's talking shit. Everybody's running their mouth. And so one of the things that I've been hearing a lot is people on TikTok and Instagram who don't, and again, I'm not an expert, but I also don't like to do fear-mongering, I guess.
But you do.
Nah, I don't really do fear-mongering. I just say, hey, this is what I think is going to happen. But in terms of stuff like this, it's people doing fear-mongering because they don't understand this. They don't understand the situation of the area, right? So there's a lot of undersea internet cables that go through that area, through that Red Sea area. All the major TikTok news people are all, the Houthis are threatening to cut this internet cable, which that is correct. That is a fact. They are threatening to cut this undersea internet cable. Everyone's saying that the consequence of this will be a global internet blackout, which is not true.
To that part.
Essentially, it will cut the internet off between Asia and Europe. and possibly parts of Africa and possibly Africa.
That's what they got Starlink.
I mean, but again, that threat now, that's the point I was going to bring up, is that threat is almost irrelevant because it doesn't fucking matter. You can cut that internet cable. That's fine. We have satellite internet now. All the governments have fucking satellite internet that have satellites in space. And
for the last 70 years, we've been moving away from analog.
Right, exactly. So
we don't even have a radio fucking transmission system anymore.
Yeah, I know, that's a fucking mistake.
That is a mistake, yeah.
That is going to be the thing that fucking ruins us here when we don't have, well, I won't say it's not going to ruin us because it still exists. It's just it's not being kept up. And it's not being kept up, the government run system. And one of the things that we've kind of talked about a little bit before, what's going to fuck, if we had let's just say there was a solar flare and all the power went out or all the shit went out, all technology got useless. China never had that fucking thing where they had that cable age, basically, of communication. China never had the telegraph. China never had phone lines strewn throughout the country like we do here, right? Everywhere you go, you see fucking phone lines and electrical lines everywhere in America. We're connected. We're well fucking connected.
Even if you don't see them, they're underground too.
Right, exactly. And China basically went from nothing or horseback and fucking pigeon fucking sending to the current digital age that we're in, of having just internet. So their whole infrastructure is all digital based. So yeah, they're totally fucked. At least we have this infrastructure that, yes, they're no longer going to be upkeeping it. I think that's a huge mistake. But if it still exists, technically, hopefully it'll work. You know what I'm saying? It won't have gone into such disrepair that it just won't work. So back to this internet cable thing, though. That's a threat that is not really it doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, they'll cut off some internet. Okay.
We'll adapt.
It doesn't affect us.
And if like I said, if it did, we would just adapt.
Right. We would just adapt to it. So I'm not
that we would adapt to no internet, because that's never going to happen.
Oh, we would fucking kill each other if there was no internet.
We would adapt in the sense that we would have come up with a solution.
Sure. But when it comes to all these people on TikTok and Instagram talking all this shit and saying, "Oh, it's going to be the end of internet communication if they attack this one fucking cable." That if you look at the map, and it's just common sense shit, man. It's like, look, if you look at the map of the undersea internet cables, you can clearly see that those cables that run through there are not a global necessity to communication. Like, it's pretty clear. So again, for Asia to Europe and Asia to Africa and vice versa, all three of those things, correct. That will maybe not be devastating and cease it completely, but it will cause some problems if they were to do that. They're also all talking shit, basically saying that, oh, everyone in every American every American asset is a target, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, it's concerning, but we're essentially going to probably wipe out their entire organization in the next 7 to 10 business days. So I don't think people really have to worry about it. The only thing that's concerning is what Iran's going to do, or if we're going to stop at Yemen. That's the true question that you have to ask, is, are we going to stop? Because we know what the source is. The facts of the matter point to the source is Iran. They're the source of this whole fucking thing with the Houthis and this. They're directing them. They're giving them the weaponry. They're giving them the stuff to make this shit happen, this blockade happen. Just literally 45 minutes ago, the Houthis launched an underwater submersible vehicle at one of our naval ships. We fucked that shit up and destroyed it 20 miles out. I don't know if it's, I may be being facetious with the mileage, but what I'm saying is we destroyed it before it got anywhere near any type of range that it could damage our naval asset. But the Houthis don't make fucking underwater submersible vehicles. They don't have the technology. They're getting that shit from somewhere. And it's coming from Iran. It's pretty well documented. So that's the only question and concern that I would have is we are sending a lot of shit back over there again. And if you look at the buildup of actual just naval assets we have in the Middle East area now, it is fucking massive. And the amount of air assets that we have now headed over there, also massive. And sure, maybe we're doing it in a little bit of a slower fashion because I don't know what our current administration's thought is on the kinetic aspect of this conflict that's about to happen. But the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, even President Biden himself, they've been basically saying that we're going to fuck some shit up. And it's not going to be just a one-time deal like we've been responding over the last several weeks to these things that have happened, the attacks, and some of our guys get injured. Cool. We go attack one spot, and then we call it a day. They said this is going to be a multi-phased operation. So take that for what it is. I don't know what that means. Could mean a lot of different things. I don't necessarily want to speculate on that, but it could lead to more. Who knows? We'll find out, I guess. We'll see. And like I said, I was really fucking hoping that we would have actually started the response by now, because this thing happened, like almost a week ago? These three military individuals of America getting killed by the Houthi whatever the fuck missile that they launched, or drone, or I don't know, whatever the fuck it was that did it. But we sure are getting ready to do something, and it's gonna be, as Adam said, extremely proportional.
That's not.
Huh?
It's gonna be very unproportional.
Oh, no. It's going to be unproportional as fuck, but it's the code word being, if we say proportional, that means it's going to be
7 times worse.
It's going to be the opposite of that. Yeah, it's definitely going to be fucking bad.
So the blockade that's been happening is...
Correct.
Did you look into who those waters belong to? I mean, I imagine they're international water, right? Because for them to be allowed passage. Then.
Correct, yeah. It's considered international water. So it's not like anybody owns it. Now,
because then, I mean, the U.S. Navy being put there would mean that they want safe passage for pretty much all the cargo ships that go through, from Asia to Europe, right? So the fact that it happened is not so much incompetency on the U.S. end,
right?
But perhaps it was maybe, I don't even know if this is, maybe it's a play by the U.S. to play the victim. I mean, not at the expense of 3 dead soldiers or whatever, but
that's our whole thing. We don't start wars; we end them.
I mean, because in history, World War I, there was like the Lusitania submarine. That it was that was a British ship, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the HMS Lusitania. I think is what it was.
Lusitania, right? Let me see.
I believe it was British.
Lusitania.
Yeah. Swift-moving British cruise liner.
So that was I think that was the entry for them in, was it World War I?
Yeah. Essentially, that's what got us to say, hey, you know what? You guys can't fucking do this. They killed Americans.
Yeah, so
you fucked up.
Maybe this was a play for the U.S. was, we can't deal with what's happening in Yemen with the Houthi with the Houthi group itself, right? Maybe there's other proxy groups that are intervening and shit,
right?
But we can't do it because they're too small, and everybody's going to think we're trying to. We, as in the U.S., that the U.S. is trying to play world police, on the international stage, but it just doesn't look good. Can't go to Iran because, again, they never directly, they're not in direct conflict with us. They never will, because they have nothing that we have. They're not the threat. So maybe them having this whole cargo ship blockade with the addition of the 3 soldiers' death, it's like, all right, do we have they're asked, on the international stage, they could say, do we have enough so we can retaliate?
So we can fuck these dudes up?
Yeah.
They killed 3 of our guys now, finally.
Is that enough? Is that enough? And maybe that's what it took to get to this point for us to retaliate or
yeah, we're very beholden to our ROEs.
And that's the thing, like what you're saying about us being like essentially the world police, right? When it comes to like naval waterways. I mean, that is true. We have been that, and everybody has let us because we made it safe for international shipping and nobody got fucked with for all these years. And if anything does happen, like what happened when the Somali pirate shit started happening? We sent Navy ships down there to fuck their shit up.
Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, Mogadishu. Yeah, okay. And even when it came back again in the 2010s or whenever it started up again, we sent naval assets there to take care of shit. That Captain Phillips fucking movie. Somali pirates captured this ship and the Navy SEALs killed those dudes like nobody's business.
Yeah.
So it's a clear message to everyone. A, like Frank always likes to say, don't fuck with our ships. And B, don't fuck with our money. Because the whole reason we're there, let's not make fucking excuses or let's not call it what it is. We're there for money because we've made our world stage presence felt and our position has been secured by the fact that we have essentially became the country that could protect the waterways. The British ones were the British were the empire before us that did it. That's how they spread worldwide, essentially, because
they failed at
They
failed at that. Remember, they stopped fighting the Barbary states, and they just paid tribute. They were able to take out the Caribbean pirates, but that was when they stopped fighting because it was cheaper just to pay off the Barbary states.
Oh.
That's when I think that was when they started the naval force started going down because they fought with our boats. So that's why we created the Navy. Because the Navy was created to fight pirates. And we went over there, we fucked their shit off, and they left us alone. And we ended the Barbary states with our Navy with 4 boats.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that the British had already declined as a world power at that point.
Yeah.
So essentially, that was how they got into the position of there being a world power, was because they could protect the waterways. And basically, that's what created international shipping, was essentially the British Navy. That's how international shipping essentially became a thing.
Makes sense, because that's how you get the tea products from India to
everywhere else.
Yeah.
And so...
And every time we bring up the whole Navy, the British Navy and all that shit, I always have to bring it up. They try to take over the world for spices, yet they never used it on their own food.
Yeah, that is fucking hilarious. That's the irony of that.
British food.
Bland as shit.
Keck.
Yeah,
top keck.
Top keck. So with us now having taken that mantle, obviously, you're fucking with our money, because we've convinced everybody else in the world that's not our enemy, essentially, at this point. The US dollar is basically the reserve currency of every country on the planet that's not in BRICS, or they heavily use it in all their economies. And the way we spread that is by, hey, we'll protect your shit, but you got to use US dollars. Use US dollars. Here's a bunch of US dollars. Here, take these US dollars. Use them in your country. Oh, yeah. And we spread it around, so now we can control the strings because we control the currency. So you're going to fuck with our money, because then people say, hey, asshole, we've been buying all these things with US dollars, and we've been spending money here, and wow, look at these guys. Look what they're doing. So then we have to go and say, yeah, you're right. We're going to put this to a stop, because now these guys are getting pissed and saying, we're not going to use US dollars anymore. Oh, fuck, can't have that. So now we need to fucking fuck their shit up. Yeah. And that's what the Houthis have unintentionally done, because I don't think that them or Iran understood the actual consequence of fucking with international trade. I don't think that they really fucking understood, because the Somali pirates were never a threat. They were never a big enough organized force to actually... they would take a boat maybe here or there. They'd take a ship here and there and hold it for ransom, right? No one was fearing the Somali pirates and really, oh man, we're not going to send anything that way anymore. It wasn't that. This is different. This has been different, and I don't think that they understood the ramifications of their actions when they started out on doing this. And I think that they're about to fucking, again, they fucked around. They are about to find out.
Only thing I was going to add was that
Yeah.
It's just weird that it happened at all, because if we are in fact the world power as far as US navies as far as naval forces go, right?
Yeah.
This should not have been an occurrence at all, because we don't lose mostly.
Correct. Well, and that's also the thing too, is because we sent everybody over there as a deterrence. That's why we have this huge build. This was a deterrence to say, hey, don't fuck with us, because if you fuck with us, it's not going to end well for you. And so
less than 24 hours is what it takes us to get a fighting force anywhere
in the world. And the naval force it takes a little longer because ships are slower. But once we're there, we're there, and we have enough firepower to fucking sustain a full-fledged war against whoever the fuck we want for forever, essentially.
Remember, in World War II, Japanese soldiers were probably 40 miles from their own homes, starving to death in little fucking ditches that they made to fight us. They look over the ridge and they just see Americans fucking eating so fucking well that we have a choice in what kind of ice cream flavors we wanted.
Yeah.
That's how great our fucking logistical system was in World War II, and it's only gotten better since then.
Yeah. So I lost the point of what you asked.
I was just saying
what you stated.
That this occurrence feels strange. I don't want to say it was planned.
Like setup, like it was a setup.
It was a setup for the U.S. to, because again, if they would just.
Oh, we could have crushed it. We could have probably crushed it as soon as we got there.
Yeah. I mean,
but we let it fester, and you're right. This could very well be a setup where we're saying, "Hey, you know what?" And this is why I would say we would just need to be wary of the fact that we might not stop in Yemen. We might keep going, and we might just keep going to the source, because if we use this as an excuse to say, okay, we could have crushed this when we got there. Yeah, people are gonna bitch. Oh, you're bombing these fucking farmers and these cave dwellers, essentially. Okay, sure, maybe there's an argument for that, but
they started. That's
not the reason why we didn't fuck them up at the beginning. I think the reason we did it is like what you're saying is I think it's a setup. I think we were just saying, cool, let's let them do some shit, and maybe we didn't want to lose guys, obviously. That wasn't probably the intention. They were probably hoping maybe a missile would sink a fucking shipping container ship or something stupid like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But our defensive shit's just too good, so it hasn't happened. Then with the Houthis attacking land targets, well, that's what happened. Fucking, they accidentally killed some of our guys, really, is just kind of what happened. Mm-hmm. So now that occurred, now we can say, ooh, now the gloves can come off and we can fuck them up. And again, maybe that's what we've been waiting for. So then we can just go straight into Iran and say, hey, you're getting the smoke too, because you gave these assholes all this stuff.
But that's not enough. I don't think it's enough for the U.S. to...
It was enough for Afghanistan and Iraq. Remember, we went to Afghanistan and said, hey, some shit came from Iraq. Let's go to Iraq.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if that's all that great in this situation, because Israel is kind of the focal point, and by proxy, we're helping them, right? So we're kind of...
We told them to cut their shit out, and then we left because they weren't listening to us.
For what?
We told them to stop bombing the fucking people and start allowing humanitarian aid, and we left because they wouldn't listen.
All right, but my overall point being that the name of the U.S. cannot be... it's synonymous with Israel, right?
Sure, yeah.
So...
So I think what you're trying to say is if we go into Iran, we're basically fighting this for Israel, or it's looking like we're helping Israel.
Yeah, because you don't want it to turn into an international, like, regional conflict.
Yeah, at the same time though, Russia's losing to the poorest country in the world. Half of China's arsenal is filled with water.
I would say that again, we've mentioned this in past episodes about how easy it is to start a world war, because like in World War I, everybody was just itching to fucking go, right? And the fucking assassinations of some basically dickhead, for the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who is, as I've said before, essentially historically irrelevant. Other than that is what led to he was irrelevant.
Well, let's be honest. It's not the start of World War I. It's just the easiest way to say.
Well, it's the thing that got the ball rolling, that got it all, and it all happened very quick.
It was a lot of things. It's just
Well,
trying to explain how World War I started is one of the worst things to fucking do because it's so fucking complicated.
No, it's not. It's very easy. It's
just easier to say than for Archduke Ferdinand.
Right. That's because again, up until that point, it's very complicated. But everyone in Europe wanted to kill each other. They were just waiting for a fucking reason, and there had been small things, and eventually, it took some guy getting killed, and that's what sparked it off. These guys said, "Fuck that, we're going in." Then these guys says, "Well, fuck that. Well, wait, we have a treaty with them. If they get invaded, so now we got to help them." And then that's how it explodes, and that's where you get with BRICS and fucking everybody else. If one person gets attacked, oh fuck, now you got to help them. Yeah. So that's how this thing can explode from essentially a local conflict to a regional because the local conflict started with Israel. That's where this whole thing kind of began, is with Israel. And then it's now ballooned into this regional conflict. And that's likely if we give the smoke to Iran, it will likely turn into a global conflict, I feel like. But all right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I got my original point.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So yeah, again, U.S. is synonymous with Israel, right?
True.
So you have all this shit going on with this blockade, and I think you kind of summed it up more or less, is that we've never had anything to get in direct conflict with Iran, right?
Yeah.
And this is the closest that it's come, is with this blockade, the 3 soldiers dying.
Yeah.
And maybe it's going to take one more thing to say, because I don't know what the public perception or the international perception of the U.S. to the rest of the world, but we technically have blood on our hands with the Israel situation, because we did send them a package for I don't know X amount of dollars.
Sending them a bunch of money.
But, at the same time, did we have blood on our hands because we helped Britain out before we entered World War II, because we were sending them all the supplies?
I would say we did.
Trade is not so. By doing trade,
but this isn't trade. This is direct funds for the purpose of
armaments.
Yeah, in warfare, I guess.
Yeah,
but because that's kind of like the thing I was getting at.
But at the same time, you gotta understand. But us having all that shit in Israel, it's now accessible throughout the Middle East.
Meaning what?
Now that we're attacking the Middle East, all our shit's already there.
Oh, you mean for our use, or for their use and our use?
Anybody's use, but our shit is now readily available in the Middle East because of this conflict.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that after this conflict happens, now we need it to attack another country.
Yeah. Well,
population, I guess, because Yemen doesn't have a government, right?
I don't think that.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I think it's a very limited government, if anything.
From what I've heard, they compared it to Somalia.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's almost stateless. I think there's some sort of government.
It's the Houthis are the government.
Yeah, they're just the faction that is like in control, I guess, the most.
Yeah. Anyways, my main point being that from a public perception, that we haven't had an entry point to do some kind of warfare. I mean, shit, who the fuck knows if this is going to turn into a bombing raid of the Houthis? So we don't have to put boots.
Bombed them.
Yeah,
we don't have to put boots to the fucking ground, and that's what I mean. Shit, the U.S. could do that with Iran very easily. Just park themselves right outside their borders in international waters and have I don't know, F-35s.
Yeah, send the smoke and just let it happen.
And that's all it would take.
I think that's the plan. I think that's.
But there's never been anything directly tied to Iran itself, so we've never been able to do anything. And they're never going to do that, because if they did, just easily go in there and just fuck shit up. But that's not going to happen. So, I don't know. It's just interesting that we have to wait. We have to wait our fucking turn.
I know, right?
It's like there's a meter bar. And if you get enough incidences or enough tragedies or enough things, then, okay, like everybody around the consensus around the world is like, go have at it. Go.
Yeah, you guys can do it now.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of like initiative or whatever in Dungeons and Dragons, except your initiative has to build up the U.S.'s initiative is like 100, and it's got to build up through shit happening to it, and then everybody can go, oh, okay, yeah, you can attack now.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else is just, oh yeah, everybody else is 1 through 99 gets to attack us and do shit to us, and we can defend, but can't do anything about it otherwise. Otherwise, everybody loses their mind.
Yeah, anything else would seem like an act of aggression from the U.S. itself, that we're trying to seize the oil in Iran or some other bullshit thing that people would say. And
yeah, pretty much.
Knows. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't have anything else said.
I think that's where it ends. That was just the update on the Middle Eastern stuff, and then obviously in the next, I mean, today's what's today? Today's the 1st of or 2nd of February now. So, I mean, this episode is going to go up on Monday, so I'm sure maybe something's going to happen this weekend. Hopefully next week we'll have something to talk about more with this going down. I don't know. We'll see. But if not, whatever. All right, so
let's get to the Sweden shit.
All right. So I was fucking just dicking around on something, and this thing came up where somebody was talking about like how some Nordic countries like Sweden and Norway and fuck whatever, everybody just looks so good and everybody's just so beautiful. And somebody made a joke about like something with Hitler and like, oh yeah, it's like they fucking were controlling the breeding or something. And somebody made like a joke and everybody laughed. That was funny. So I thought, man, like they all laughed and said, oh no, that could never happen or whatever. But what's funny is that's exactly what the fuck happened. Sweden had a eugenics program that was compulsory. Like you didn't have a choice from 1906 until 1975. And essentially the way they did it is if anyone did anything that the government felt was rebellious, if it was not in any way that wasn't good, or if you were just maybe a little too ugly, if you looked weird, immediate sterilization. Like you were legitimately sterilized by the government and you couldn't breed. So it took essentially whatever 60 or 69 years, right? 1906 to 1975, that's 69, I think. Ironic that the number 69, but it took like 69 years, but they basically bred the ugly out of their fucking country.
And isn't that worse though? Because that doesn't mean their gene pool, it's only going to be.
That's why if you go to like places like Iceland and there's another one, Norway, I think, they're paying people.
Oh yeah,
to come live there too.
Right,
because they need genetic diversity, right?
Right, yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's one of the country, I think it's Iceland, has an app that everyone downloads. So when you're dating someone, you can look up to see if you're related to them.
Oh my god, dude,
that's crazy.
Oh Jesus, that's weird.
So yeah, so essentially, yeah, the government would just sterilize people for if they felt, oh hey, you know what, this guy's a little too ugly. Oh, if you had any kind of mental disability, sterilized. If you had what they would do with women is they would justify it by saying, oh, her temperament is not conducive to what a woman should be. Like if they were, if they talked a little too much or they were a little too annoying, sterilized. Like they would just fucking get rid of everybody. Like no one could. That is so fucking crazy that shit was just like, oh yeah, up until 1975.
The U.S. had eugenics too, though.
Oh, of course we did. But not to that level. I wouldn't say we were compulsorily sterilizing people at the rate at which fucking they were doing it.
Yeah. In the Netherlands, they have it's kind of fucked up, but in the Netherlands, there are no people that exist. I think that's right. Let me double check real quick because I remember reading this article.
Uh-huh.
Let me just look it up. Or, yeah, continue talking. I'll bring it up after, just to make sure that I have it right.
Yeah. So basically, there was this chart that I found, but now I can't find a bigger version of. Oh, there it is. So yeah, they were sterilizing on average. Probably, it looks like, according to this chart, around 3,000 people a year. Now, Sweden's not a super huge country either. Their population's not like massive, and then what's funny is they went to in 1975, when it was about to be made illegal, they sterilized like 12,000 people. Like they got in one last good run before it was no longer allowed. And they were just like, you get a sterilization and you get a sterilization.
I want to say it's also Sweden or someplace else that made it that I don't know if this is true or not anymore. But it was a while back I heard that they made it that sex is a human right or a human need or something like a basic necessity.
Is this going to lead to government issued waifus? Is that
no? It led to everybody getting stipends for prostitution.
Yes. Hold on a minute. I got to look this up because I want to know what country it is.
I read something about.
I think I've heard about that too.
All right, I found out what it was, or I double checked to see if I was right. So in the Netherlands,
it wasn't for like anybody. It was for like people who were like disabled and shit like that.
Whack.
Sorry, Adam.
Oh no, yeah. So yeah, that is an interesting topic in and of itself. But in the Netherlands, so there's like a problem with. Well, it's not a problem to the people that are alive, but so in the Netherlands they don't have people with Down syndrome at all because everybody that gets tested for it, and if they have if the woman is exhibiting, if their fetus is exhibiting signs of Down syndrome, like
they just terminate it
for it, abortion. So
fuck.
Yeah, so that thing is kind of fucked up in the sense that, man, everybody should have the right to exist, and like for somebody that is mentally disabled or more than likely will end up mentally disabled, for people to dictate in advance that you're not a worthy life because you're going to be a burden. That's essentially what their argument is, that they don't want those people to exist because it'd be a burden on the system. But I mean, one thing, I mean, for everybody shitting on the US, one thing that we've done well is integrating people of all disabilities into regular life.
Yeah, that is true.
Doing everything. I mean, now
we have the ADA.
Yeah.
UC Davis like has programs for people with mental disabilities so they can go to college, and obviously they work and stuff. And but just Netherlands saying straight up, we don't want that shit here. I mean, that is a form of eugenics in and of itself, and that's something they still currently do. Is that they don't want that in their gene pool. They don't want that in their population. I'm just like, that's fucked up.
That's crazy.
Technically, then I would have been killed. I would have been killed then.
Why do you have the you have the gene? Or
when my mom was pregnant with me, they told her that I was going to be born brain dead or some shit like that, or mentally disabled. That's why my middle name is Houthis, because she made a deal with St. Jude to if I came out okay, that I would be named after him. I came out a little fucked up, so
his middle name, She's like, he came out like half fucked up, so not all the way fucked up, so we'll give him the middle name. That's funny. Oh yeah, so it's the Netherlands is also the one that does the sex grants for fucking people.
Yeah. Sex grants for what?
For people, it says because they determined it to be
a necessity to life.
Jesus Christ. It says, okay, it's not a sex grant, as they say, but it benefits citizens with disabilities.
Yeah, it's about people who can't, like...
It can be spent however they want. So
what do you mean by disabilities, though? Are you saying people...
Like people who can't, people who are disabled, like they can't walk or whatever.
If you have like a disability...
They have a less chance to be able to attract a mate.
Yeah, so now you get it's like a monthly thing that you get, and you get it 12 times a year. So you can can literally fuck once a month with this money.
Oh, that's fucking great. I mean, just thinking about that, it's because I don't want to say all problems are rooted in sex, but if you just got the demons out of you,
oh man,
what's up?
There would be a lot less problems in the world.
You ever seen that video of Boy Math?
Boy Math?
The guy's like, okay, so we know that women equals money plus time.
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes, money equals time, though. So that means money squared plus time squared equal. Like he's going through all this equality.
Yeah.
And so we all know money is the root of all evil. Women equal money. Money equals women. Therefore, women are evil.
That's fucking great. Oh man. So anyways,
So for how many years did you said 69 years?
yeah, from 1906 to 1975, they fucking were doing compulsory sterilizations.
It's also what Germany was doing during World War II.
God damn.
Well, you're right, but what's funny is the Swedish did it after World War II, all the way for 40 fucking years almost, or 30 years almost.
And all them peoples are 6 feet tall, or mostly 6 feet tall, and
perfect jaw lines.
Never mind. I was about to say
their diet is mostly probably, I don't know if it's like lutefisk, the fucking
that's the Jewish thing. You think about that fucking shark thing, right?
no, lutefisk,
No, that's
like
that's
cod.
a gefilte fish
Cod-
is the
it's
Jewish
bleached,
thing. Yeah.
bleached fucking
No, the one I'm talking about the one that's cured in ammonia.
ammonia, ammonia,
it's not
bleach.
Bleach.
No, that's what's it called? But yeah, that shit's fucking, from what I understand, it's fucking nasty as fuck.
Oh yeah.
But that's what gefilte fish is too. It's
Fermented, right?
fish.
Yeah.
gefilte fish is not marinated. It's cured in something that's poisonous. I think it is ammonia as well.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna get roasted for this, but you know what I always used to think gefilte fish was? I thought it was those little Swedish fish candies, whatever that thing is, the Jewish thing. I thought it was those little Swedish fish candies. And I always used to be like, man, I wonder why people fucking hate it so bad or say it's so nasty. These things are so delicious. And I'd be eating this little Swedish fish.
I mean,
I thought it was a candy.
When it comes
I'm an
to
idiot.
when it comes to gummy candies,
Yeah.
Swedish fish is like E tier.
Oh, it's like the lowest tier for sure. But I mean,
When it comes to gummies.
yeah, sure. But you know, when you're an idiot kid and you don't know any better,
Dried whitefish,
cured in ammonia.
dried whitefish, cured in lye.
Oh, lie. Fuck, man.
Yeah, the shark, I forget what it's called, or the fish that's cured in ammonia, that's over there in the Nethers, I think.
That's crazy.
I remember every person I've seen, Gordon Ramsay, Anthony Bourdain, not Anthony Bourdain, Jeremy Wilde, the guy from River Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Like every time I've seen them go, every person I've seen go out there to like, do their thing on it.
Right.
Nobody fucking likes it.
Damn.
The people like it because, at
what
this
they got.
point, it's in their DNA.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's reverse eugenics into them to enjoy this. Anyways.
Oh wait, that makes
sorry,
me
go
wonder.
Well,
'cause- oh yeah, keep going.
Like that whole what's that gene that Asians people have?
Who has?
Asian.
Oh, I thought you said agent people. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Oh, Asians?
Yeah.
What gene?
The one that pretty much turns alcohol into poison for them.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? Markiplier has it. He actually
Oh.
he actually almost died and had to go to the hospital.
It's like you're allergic to alcohol, right?
Yeah.
That's like, what's his name? Remember General Patton?
Oh yeah.
Not the actual General George S. Patton, but this guy that we used to call General Patton.
It's a nickname akin to Nimrod and Einstein.
Yeah.
If you call someone Einstein, you're not
Right.
calling them smart. You're calling them dumb.
You're calling them stupid. Yeah.
If you call someone a Nimrod, you're calling them. You're not calling them a great hunter. You're
Right.
calling them a horrible hunter.
Yeah.
All right, because I was kind of curious because you were talking about the eugenics stuff, right? Because there's a native group of people that exist.
In Sweden?
Yeah,
Oh, what are they called?
because I remember this guy that I knew.
Are they like Inuits or whatever? Like something like that to the effect of?
Yeah,
If they were Inuits, the Canadians would have killed them.
I can't remember if they're nomadic, but they're called the Sami people, and I was trying to remember if they're white as well.
Oh, man.
because they're a protected people that, I mean, they couldn't get wiped out or
I was just
whatever.
gonna knock something over.
Hey, what? What a dick.
But this guy was telling me about this indigenous group that
Yeah.
existed in Sweden. I'm like, wait, are they white too?
I don't know. They kind of look like Mongols a little bit.
Go ahead, bite it. Oh,
It's interesting.
she's biting the electrical
Anyways,
cord.
besides the point.
Yeah. So, so the word of the day. I don't have anything else. Does anybody have anything else? No. All right. We already cleared an hour, so we're good.
Okay.
The word of the day, which I think is the fucking perfect word to describe this fucking podcast. I don't even know if I could say it right. Ultra crepidarian.
Ultra crepidarian?
Ultra crepidarian.
Why don't you just have the audio?
Oh, you
play?
know what? That's a good idea. Hold on.
Ultra crepidarian?
Yeah, ultra crepidarian.
Yeah.
Crepidarian. God damn
Is
it.
it all one word?
Yeah, it's all one word. Ultra. Oh, here we go.
Ultra crepidarian.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I said it right. Ultra crepidarian. It means
Yeah, it is.
it means expressing opinions on matters outside the scope of one's knowledge or expertise.
Oh shit! What's that one thing? If it's something like you're too stupid to know that you're not smart.
Yeah. No, there's like a fancy word for that.
It's something. Oh, shit.
I don't know why, but I just remember the whole. I heard this thing on it, and I thought it was the most amazing. Because they talk about stats in D&D. The one that everyone always asks is, what's the difference between intelligence and wisdom?
Okay.
And I think the D&D answer was, intelligence is knowing that Fireball can do this, this, and this. But wisdom is knowing that if you throw another goddamn fireball in the room I'm in, I'm gonna fucking stab you.
All right, I found it.
Okay, all right. What is it?
Thank goodness that I found something that I was fucking looking for, because the comic book podcast I couldn't get the thing I was looking for. The Dunning-Kruger effect.
The Dunning-Kruger
is a cognitive bias in which people with limited competence in a particular domain overestimate their abilities.
Yeah. That's what we are. That's what this whole podcast is.
So ultra crepidarian is something to that effect, right?
Describes it. Yeah, it's people expressing opinion. Yeah.
Oh, is it a noun?
Yeah, it's a noun.
So you could describe somebody as
ultra crepidarian. Yeah. It's also an adjective as well, apparently.
Okay, so
you could in a noun we would basically be just saying that, oh man, wait.
Yeah, what was that thing you were telling me when we were talking about the Gurren Lagann movie? The theory or whatever, how everything is spiral shaped.
Oh shit! It's called something. Is it the something number? The
golden ratio.
Well, it was like
there's like a name for it.
It's like a mathematical formula that shows why everything is always in spiral form.
Yeah, it's like a mathematical equation.
Yeah, the golden ratio.
No, but there was like a name for it that wasn't that. It was something different. Mathematical.
It's like Faustian
spiral pattern name. The Fibonacci sequence.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's the golden ratio.
Right. Well, it's the golden spiral, but that's the name that I was saying. It's not called that. It's called something else. The term that I use, but it's the same thing. Yeah, but it's called the Fibonacci sequence. That was.
Hold on, let me finish my thought because it's bugging me.
Go ahead.
Well, the D&D term for that was the whole fireball and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the one I heard that was really really fucking cool is the intelligence is knowing that Frankenstein, that the monster is not Frankenstein. The monster's name is not Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein's monster or Frankenstein, whatever the thing they call in the book. Wisdom is knowing that Dr. Frankenstein was the real monster.
Oh, that's a good way to put that. Yeah, interesting. So
I was trying to get that out, and I didn't get it out, so it was my ADD was acting up.
I got you. So we here at the Central Unintelligence Podcast are quite ultra crepidarian. I think we need to put that somewhere. That needs to be like a tagline on something.
I got somebody working on a shirt design for us.
Oh yeah,
I'll think about that.
See how you can fit ultra crepidarian in there, because that would be fucking awesome.
The one is the one I originally told you about the whole measuring from the planet to the moon.
Ultra crepidarian. See, oh man, there's got to be a way they could fit that in there somehow.
I think it's got to go with your thing, the amateur historiologist.
Yeah,
it's got to be incorporated with that.
Yeah, amateur historiologist, ultra crepidarian certified since fucking 2020, fucking whatever. Man, all right. Anyways, you guys got anything else?
No. I mean, it's cool to know that. How did you stumble upon that word?
When we were looking for, you wanted to know some word we were trying to figure out.
Right now, what you just remembered.
The Dunning-Kruger effect?
Yeah. I was looking that up to try to figure it out, and that word came up.
Ah, cool.
Ultra crepidarian. And so that was why I was like, oh, this is the perfect fucking word. This is literally the definition of this fucking Central Unintelligence Podcast.
There's something I want to talk about that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, all right. I mean, fuck. Let's do it.
Northrop
Grumman? Yeah.
The same people that make the B-2 stealth bombers.
Oh, yeah.
The same people that make the B-21 Raider that's going to replace the B-2.
Yeah.
The guys that make a lot of our airplanes and bombers are the same people that make our mail trucks.
Make our mail trucks?
Yeah, the mail trucks that the mail guys drive in? They're made by Northrop Grumman. Nope. I thought it was
that is the logical thing to think, hey, car manufacturer would probably be the best bet. But no, because the Postal Service is run by the federal government. Therefore, it has to do all its bidding through contractors that are contracted through the government. And so the only people available to build cars like that would be our military contractors. And because they're part of the federal government, it has to go out to the lowest bidder.
Yep. And that's literally why those fucking trucks look so weird, is because they were literally designed by a company that never made a vehicle, like never made a land vehicle before in their life.
They took the frame of a Chevy S10, cut it in half, and then built the body around that.
That's classic, man. That's so great.
Certainly, check out the Fat Electrician, because his shit that he comes up, the fucking these stories that he finds that you don't even think about, man.
What was that calculator thing you were talking about? So Texas Instruments makes.
Oh yeah, they make the Stinger missile.
Yeah,
Stinger missile.
Yeah. Texas Instruments makes the fucking Stinger missile as well. Yeah. That's fucking interesting.
And but it's funny though. Now the new ones that are coming out are not being made by Northrop Grumman.
The mail trucks?
Yeah.
Who's making them?
Some company. You need to look them up because I can't get their name right. Oshkosh.
Oh, wait. Oshkosh?
The clothing line.
They make the mail trucks now?
Well, remember
who makes the U.S.
He makes our
mail?
Washers, fridges.
Yeah, they also invented the fucking Gatling gun. Oh, it's Oshkosh Defense.
Oshkosh Defense, yeah.
Oh my god, you know what it's called? It's called
fucking ugly as fuck.
All right, it's called the Oshkosh NGDV. The next generation delivery vehicle.
Show them the photo of how ugly it is.
I haven't seen one. Hold on, I gotta. Let's see if they have a picture of it on here. Oh my god, look at this thing. That's ass.
Oh my god, that is the real life equivalent of the Simpsons episode when Homer designed.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it like fucking electric or what's the?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me just read the article. God, dude, they ordered them $6 billion to make these 160,000 vehicles.
Now, I want you to put this into perspective, though. The same factory, the factory that is building our state-of-the-art bomber, there's a section of that factory that was dedicated to making mail trucks.
That's crazy. You know what's funny? So it's gonna run on both gas and electric.
So it's a hybrid?
Yeah.
Or is it two different models?
No,
is it like one model runs off of electric, the other model runs off of
gas? Right now it's a hybrid, but then it's going to be one that runs just off of electric. And they use the goddamn fucking 2-liter Ford EcoBoost engine.
Yeah.
They just took it and shacked it in there. But the electric range on it's only 70 miles. So, I mean, that's not far, but I guess, dude, do mail trucks drive more than 70 miles in a day? If you think about it, they're not.
Well, no, because they have to come back to refill their trucks with the mails.
Yeah, but so like my mail guy, like he gets all the mail he's going to deliver for the day at the beginning of his start of his day.
No, that's not an 8-hour week. A day, I mean. There's a guy that I live with in my apartments. He became a mail truck and he was telling me like, because I was even talking to the guy that delivers the mail for us. And because we're 404 units.
Right.
And he says that's 2 trips for him. Well, it's us and the metro, so.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about a regular non-apartment resident. Because like basically.
No, because I like to read stories about like Pro Revenge and stuff like that. And there was one about the mail service. They spend 90% of their time on foot. They drive maybe 5 minutes, then walk around the neighborhood to deliver their mail, and then they come back to the truck, go back, deliver what they have, and then it's usually 2 trips.
Oh shit, my guy doesn't even. He just drives up to your mailbox.
Yours, because your mailboxes are on the edge.
Right.
Not all houses are like that.
Yeah, I'm talking about like pretty much all the neighborhoods in our city are like that.
Once you get down to by the high school, that's when you won't be seeing mailboxes.
Yeah, those guys got to get out and walk. Yeah, that's true. But then, okay, think about this. Then
all my neighborhoods I've ever been the mailman had to get up and deliver.
So 400. So if you had 400 people's mail in your truck
and packages,
and packages. Okay, you could fit that probably in the truck or most of it for your route that you're going to be on. I don't know how deep their routes are, but But if you got to get out and walk it though, you can't like you could that truck. The amount of mail you could fit in one of those mail trucks, it would take you if you were walking.
There are times there's like this according to that revenge story I listened to.
Yeah.
They have quotas that they're supposed to deliver throughout the day, and if it takes them an hour to do one section, if you're according to this guy, if you're even 5 or 10 minutes later than what you're expected, they're gonna replace you with somebody else, and to see if it takes him an hour to do it, and if it takes him less than you, then you get down on the ranks.
Oh shit!
So the higher rank is the higher.
Dude, the fucking mail service is hella competitive. That's crazy.
Because you want premium routes.
Yeah. So then so then to become a driver though, is it better to be a driver or is it better
to be a driver?
You got to work in like the warehouse or whatever first, right?
No. You just have to fail 3rd grade math.
That's the minimum requirement.
But to work in the mailroom, you have to have a fucking college degree.
That's crazy.
No, I made that part up.
All right. You know what? We should try to interview someone who works in the postal service.
I can ask that guy.
Oh man, how long did he work there?
He just started though.
Ah, fuck. I kind of want to know somebody. I kind of want to find somebody who knows the shit, like who knows the ins and outs, and like could really tell us some interesting shit.
I can ask the other dude, the one that actually delivers our mail.
Yeah,
but I doubt he'll want to.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe try it and see. I'll have to see if I can. My mail guy, he's an old guy. He's like, what technology?
Just tell him you want to do an interview.
Yeah, he'll be like, no, go fuck yourself. I'm about to retire, son.
Exactly.
So, anyways, all right, cool. Well, fuck, man, we did another hour and 20 minutes. All right. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Fucking give your balls a tug. Go listen to all the other stuff that we do. Go to the website. You know, what else? Get anything else to add, Frank or Adam?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and hopefully we don't all die.
It's not like Josh,
That was the latest episode of the Central Unintelligence Podcast. Don't forget, subscribe and like on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. We're also on Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Also our website, www.gameragemagazine.com.